Oh my freedom, it has been a long day. I frickin' hate Hellmire. Welcome back to the SeS Emperor of Democracy, cadets. My name is Commissar Kai, and Super Earth has given me the task of getting y'all up to speed on how to solo Helldive missions. Last time, we went up against the bots, and we turned those sorry communists into enough scrap metal to make a new destroyer fleet. This time, we're going up against the bugs, and we're bringing the Flamer for a good old-fashioned barbecue. Now, some of y'all might be asking the obvious question. Commissar, why do you look like you just crawled out the backside of a Bile Titan? Well, cadets, when the entire planet is on fire, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Now, before anyone asks any more stupid questions, let's look at our loadout before dropping back into combat. Today, we're bringing the Breaker Incendiary, which is gonna help a lot with our impromptu cookout. Main reason we're bringing this weapon is to deal with all the little critters quickly so we can focus on those big SOBs. To help clear out bug holes and deal with those cursed bile spewers, we're bringing the new grenade pistol along with impact grenades. We're never going to be lacking for ordnance to remind these dumb animals about their place in the food chain. Lastly, we're bringing the Flamer. This weapon melts chargers and bug breaches faster than anything I've used in the past. For support, we're bringing our girl, Eagle 1 again, packed to the brim with 500 kilogram bombs. For additional support, we're bringing the 120mm barrage, mostly to deal with those beehives and those large bug nests. Finally, we're gearing up in the CEO7 demolition armor to help us be a little bit faster and give us a few more grenades. And let's be honest, y'all, look stylish while doing it. Now that you know the loadout, let's drop into combat. Just like against the bots, we're trying to drop somewhere where we can kind of get settled in. We want to be able to call in our support weapons and our shield backpack before we, head off into combat. Especially when we're running the Flamer, because that's mostly what we're going to be using to kill stuff. But I did want to mention that something to do with Flamer and the Breaker Incendiary is that right now, I guess the automatons have hacked into Super Earth's mainframe or some crap. But basically, the damage over time effect of these weapons does not work at all if you're not the host of the match. Now, this is an issue when we're riding solo because obviously we're going to be the host, but I just thought it was worth mentioning. Now, any good solo Helldiver drops into a mission with a plan. And my plan in this one was to clear out this main objective since it was close by. It was on the opposite side of the map from the other two main objectives. And I want an area that I know is kind of safe. I know it's cleared out of enemies. I can fight this bug breach no problem because I got my Flamer. I got a good position. So I figured this was a good time to fight. And as you can see, the bugs don't stand really much of a chance. I mean, of course not. They're frickin' socialist animals that don't believe in democracy. What did they expect? But anyway, as you can see here, if I feel like I'm a little out of position, I'll move myself over and I try to create a funnel. See, there's a lot of bugs, right? But, man, there's even Charger coming. But if I funnel them all into this little hole right here, it's just a barbecue waiting to happen, right? Slow roast them. They're going to be burning in the flames on the ground. The stream's hitting them in the face. It's just wonderful. It's such a good feeling, y'all. But anyway, when I run out of juice, I'm going to back up a little bit and I'll look for another spot to engage the enemy. While I finish clearing out this objective and, finish the objective anyway, I do want to talk a little bit about why I call this series Anyone Can Solo Helldive. And I do mean that. I think that if you're capable of doing a team mission on a 7, you're pretty capable of soloing Helldive. It might take some getting used to, but really this kind of a challenge, this kind of a mode, whatever you want to call it, it's not about being super skilled. I mean, you do need to be able to shoot, broadly in the same direction as the enemies, but as long as you kind of go into it with a plan and you know each obstacle you're going to have to face, like I know Bile Titans are going to be an issue, so I brought the 500 kilo to help deal with them. That first one didn't scratch the paint on this guy, so I know I'm going to have to set up the second one to make sure it kills him in one hit. So I'll wait for his puke to be done, So he's going to move towards me. I'm going to just stand here, wait for that bomb to drop, and I'll dive away. Now he's dead. That's just an example of what I'm talking about, though. I have a tool for anything that could potentially cause me trouble, and I know how to stall long enough to implement the plan to kill whatever's attacking me. But anyway, I'm not going to preach to y'all too much about this, but I really do believe that if you just give it a try and you kind of, take what you see and kind of implement it in your own games, I really do think a lot of people can solo Helldive. Here, I'm looking at my map, I'm making my next plan, figuring out what I'm going to do. I figure I'd go check near the main objective, make sure it's clear, look for bug holes, that kind of thing. And then I see this patrol wandering right up to me. And I know I'm in a good position to kill all of that with a flamer, so I'm going to run over and fight it just because I'm very confident that I can do this pretty much with ease. As you can see, they all have to funnel up this very narrow choke, and it's just really easy. Just bathe them in democracy until they explode. Now, as you can see here, I do take a hit, and I ran out of juice for the flamer, so I had to back up, but I'm still trying to keep them in like a pipeline. Whatever's still left alive, I want it coming directly at me from the same direction. I really don't want to get surrounded against the Termanids. It is rough, y'all. The shield backpack helps a lot with the random hunters staggering you and poisoning you and crap like that, so that's why we run it. I do go a little bit ham on these little bugs here, but I really didn't want them to call in another bug breach. I mean, I'd just run away from it if I had to, but it just seemed like a mighty inconvenience. Thankfully, I was able to resupply without any issue, and I'm going to keep making my way on to the next objective. I am looking around trying to find those optional objectives, and I do stumble across a stalker. Now, this is really important because I was looking for side objectives and I happened to find them. But now my #1 priority above all else is tracking that sucker down and throwing some freedom into their stupid bug hole. Because these enemies are incredibly dangerous. Like, if you don't see them coming, they can crack your shield without much of an issue, and they start sending you flying, and once you're ragdolled in a big horde of bugs, you're pretty much toast. But as you can see here, grenade pistol helps out a lot with clearing these out quickly. I see the bug breach coming in, and I do decide to fight it, but this could have gone a little bit better. Breaker incendiary at first, and we're going to swap to the flamer. Now, these chargers, I think, are in a good position to be roasted. I'm feeling confident. I'm not worried at all right here, but I do make a really stupid mistake. Like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, guys. But when I go in to do the flamethrower, and I catch on fire and dive towards the charger into more fire and die. Now, I think this is a good time to talk about how to recover from a tough death. Because right there, I cannot just dive right in there. I'll just burn to death again. So I'm going to have to kind of think it out and figure out how the hell do I get across all these freaking flames that are just everywhere waiting to melt my face off. So I see the charger gloating over my corpse. He's just going to let me grab the flamer, I guess. So I'm going to finish him off, no problem. But I still want to get my shield backpack and my samples. And I have to wait for quite a long time. I cut most of it out for y'all, but I just wanted you to see the ridiculousness that is trying to solo Helldive on Hellmire. While we wait for the furnace to go out, we're going to take our super Earth mandated 2.4 seconds to admire the scenery of this trash heap of a planet. And now that that's done, we're going to go get our stuff back and get the hell out of here. But while I do that, I just want to say, if you've been enjoying the content so far, please like the video and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. It lets me know what y'all are into. And if you have any questions or you want any advice on loadouts or you want to see something in a future video, drop it in the comments because I try to reply to every single one. Now I'll just say, as I'm getting out of this, I don't know what else to call it other than a furnace, but I'm going to be dolphin diving quite a bit, because like I said in the last video, when you are in the dive animation, you are immune to fire damage, and that really helps. Now here I ping this tower just to make sure it's not a radar tower. I don't want to miss a potential optional objective, but since it's the main objective, I just head further south. And I noticed a shrieker nest, and there's a bug hole right in front of me, but I really want to go deal with that shrieker nest first, just because it's a very dangerous enemy to have on the map, and if they attack me at a time I'm not prepared for, it could really end the run pretty quick. As we're searching for the shrieker nest, we do get a little bit lost, but I know where I am. I'm just looking for anything else that I might need to get, like, optional objectives. And I stumble across quite a big bug hole, and this is exactly why we took the 120mm barrage. 380 would also be a good choice, but I wanted something to be able to kind of soften these things up, because it's going to take a lot of grenades otherwise. or I'd have to take like an Eagle airstrike or something, and it just doesn't feel like it's that effective when I've tried it in the past. So barrage it is. And while that sucker's cooking off, we're going to be doing a little bit of reconnaissance. I'm looking around the edges of this bug hole, trying to see if there's any more optional objectives, if there's any stalkers creeping up on me, maybe I aggro the shriekers. I'm just trying to make sure that nothing's coming to get me while I do this. I do see another bug hole over there. I might miss that one, but you know, I'm going to try to get all of them. I do miss, I think, 3 throughout the whole run, but anyway, now that the barrage is over, we're going to try to pick some of these off with the grenade pistol. If you just aim a little bit above the bug hole, it actually is pretty easy to hit these. I didn't really struggle much, and I have not used the grenade pistol before this run. But now here, this is a good chance to talk about how Flamer works against chargers. See how the flame is kind of directed off of the charger there? That means he's not taking full damage, if any damage at all. He's probably only taking the damage over time effect, and the main damage of the flamethrower comes from the stream. So since I don't really want to stand here and potentially waste a bunch of flamethrower ammo, I'm going to chunk 500 kilo on him, let Eagle 1 say hello. But yeah, anyway, like I said at the start of the video, try not to use your 500 kilos for anything but Bile Titans if you're running this setup, just because you don't really have any other good tools to deal with them. I mean, you can throw a barrage, but it's probably not going to hit. I mean, you might even blow yourself up. Now that I've killed most of the bugs that are just kind of hanging around, I feel like it's a good time to jump in and start closing bug holes. This is again where the impact grenades combined with the grenade pistol, it's just really good at this. I don't know, if you don't have like the eruptor or an autocannon or something like that, grenade pistol is a fantastic option for closing these. I don't expect y'all to be able to pull off rodeo moves like that on your first go, but you know, sometimes chargers just do you a bit of a favor and don't crunch you to pieces immediately. But now that I've cleared out most of the bug holes, I'm really low on stamina, and it's really hurting my ability to get out of here. So I was kind of hoping I'd take a little bit of damage so I could stem and get my stamina back. But I know once this bug hole is dead, I don't need to be in here dodging, dipping, ducking, and diving anymore. So I can get out and just kind of fight them a little bit more straight up. I pulled them a little bit further away from the bug nest and just tried to get them to line up like I've been talking about so I could roast them away. Sweet liberty, I love roasting big bug holes with a flamer. It is one of life's simple pleasures. I'll be bringing good eating back to the destroyer tonight, Helldivers. But now that we've cleared that out, we dealt with most of the enemies. I have just a few Hive Guard and Brood Commanders left over. We're just going to throw some impacts on them. This is because I just dropped the resupply behind me, so I don't mind about using these. I'm going to stock up. When you're solo, the whole resupply is yours, so you don't got to worry about not using all of it. We're going to make our way to the Shrieker Nest, and we're going to be encountering a patrol here fairly soon. But as I keep saying throughout the video, I hope this is the main takeaway y'all get from this. When you're using the Flamer, or even just fighting the Termanids in general, it doesn't really matter what your support weapon is, use funnels. Like Bug Breach gets called in right here. I have a Flamethrower with impact grenades. I don't care what comes out of here. I'm killing it with fire. So yeah, I'm just going to stand my ground, burn this thing down real quick. If I have to move and get a better position, I will, but I mean, this is just a perfect spot. The whole Bug Breach is already dead. That's how fast it is, y'all. I'm telling you, this is a really fun loadout to use while you're by yourself. But now that we cleared that out, we're finally making our way to the Shrieker Nest, and this is where the breaker incendiary, oh, it comes in clutch. So as you can see, each of these pellets is setting these fuckers on fire. And so, you know, obviously they don't really cause much of an issue. I don't even have to shoot them that much. I overkilled them by a good bit. But Shriekers kind of become not much of an issue as long as I know they're there and I'm heading towards them. With the breaker incendiary or the breaker spray and pray, they just fall right out of the sky. It's not even an issue. But yeah, we're going to throw the orbital barrage at it. I know because I was here, but this isn't going to kill all of them. And I'm going to really whiff with a 500 kilo. But we are going to be able to showcase another use of the impact grenades. You can actually just chunk them at these things and it will kill them. It does take, I think, 5 or 6 grenades. It takes a lot, but you can do it. And because I whiffed so hard with Eagle 1 here, darling, please excuse my atrocious throw. This is not on you, this is on me. Like, you just hit right on target every time. But because I missed, and there's still one of these frickin' stalks alive, evil broccoli, whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to chuck impact grenades at it. And then I noticed there's a stalker right behind me, so I'm really glad I was able to kill that quickly. And since that stalker was behind me, kind of stands to reason, it's just over this cliff. I put a little edit in there, just cut out a bit of running, but it was literally right over the cliff. And so, thankfully, that stalker did not cause me much of an issue. Now, right here, another one of these jerks popping out, but if you have a good shot with a shotgun, doesn't really matter which one, and you hit them square in the face from close range, it's one-shot kill. I was shocked that the breaker incendiary could do that, because its damage is fairly low, but it could do it. Now here I got a Battle Titan on my ass, and I don't have any help from Eagle 1 at the moment. She's off rearming, so I'm going to have to kite this sucker into oblivion. Now I will say this is a bit of an error on my part. I should have been pushing for that bug hole, especially when I see him dip behind that like pillar. But I chicken out, y'all. I just chicken out. I'm like, I don't have any support. I've only got a few impact grenades. I don't feel equipped to go deal with this. But honestly, it was probably a mistake. I really should have run in there because all that terrain is really tightly packed into the Battle Titan, and that's the direction I want to go. And right here, I'm just wasting time on the clock, panicking, hoping that Eagle 1 comes back up in time. I have no shame in admitting that. It happens. Everybody makes mistakes. This is one of mine. Fortunately, all it's going to cost me is a little bit of time. Now, this is a much bigger error. I don't know why. I think it's because the bug hole was there. Battle Titan was chasing me. I thought I could run through there. It looked like there was no fire, but I caught a light and became charcoal once again. I was really frustrated at that one because it looked like I was not in the flames. And because of my frustration, I dropped right into the bug nest. I'm like, you sorry sons of bitches have got to die. And so I'm just going to be chunking my nades since I got them in. This little critter pops out and blows up in my face. But I'm on a mission, y'all. I was upset at dying to that flame. And I'm just going to make sure that this thing is freaking dead before I even go back and try to get my stuff. I'm pretty sure that Battle Titan is either still alive. They might have killed themselves on a cliff. It can happen. Battle Titans can take damage from their own vomit. So like occasionally you'll see that occur. But this is another good example of how to recover from a death, even better than the first one. So here, I'm chunking this barrage just to try to buy some time. I have it, I might as well throw it. It doesn't have a limited use like the orbital laser. So it's going to give me a little bit of cover, kind of kill off a few bugs. I do see the super sample rock, I'm going to go grab that real quick. But really, I'm trying to get back to my equipment. I need my flamer, I need my shield generator, and I want to get my samples back. So this is just a happy accident. I just happened to run into the super sample rock. I'll collect them if I can. I'm still capped on them, y'all. I don't really need them, but I know y'all like to see it. But now that things are a little more quieted down, I was able to go back, get my gear, and move on to the next objective, which happens to be this escape pod that I'll need to upload the data for. So I call down the resupply because I know I might need to just fight right here. And as soon as I see hunters at all, I'm mag dumping the breaker because it just kills them so well. Like, look, I only shot that guy once, and the damage over time effect killed him. Bug breach is called in, but honestly, I'm not really worried because I'm in such a good spot. They're all going to have to funnel in right between these two rocks. I have the breaker. I've got a supply drop right behind me. I can fight this with no fear at all. Like, I don't know. It's really pleasurable just chunking nades, dealing with chargers, and all this other good stuff. But I did forget to reload my flamer, which is a bit embarrassing, but it doesn't end up costing me much. I'm able to melt all these dudes because they all funnel in there, get that objective complete. And I'm going to stand here and fight for a little bit because I'm kind of near the edge of the map and I don't really have a good way to run away. And again, since there's no Battle Titans, they all have to funnel right here. It's real easy for me to deal with them. I'm also trying to kind of protect that resupply because I did use a bunch of resources to deal with this. So I do want to make sure I can get back there. But, you know, got the side effect of roasting up a good number of bugs. Always a good experience. This style of fight and retreat is just always effective against the Termanids. It doesn't even really matter if you're using this kind of a loadout, but like making sure that the charger can't just run through the horde. Because if the charger tries to go through it, it will just run over its friends. It doesn't care. It does friendly fire damage, friendly stomping damage, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you see the pile of corpses I'm very proud of. I think I've done democracy well today. But now that I've got all the known side objectives, I know I cleared out a shrieker nest. I'm just going to keep looking for bug holes before I go do the final objective. I don't want to do it too early because I don't want to increase the spawn rate of the enemies on the map. And this orbital barrage, actually I get a little bit lucky. It does end up killing the entire bug hole without any further input from me, which is, you know, I didn't expect it, but when it does happen, it's really nice. And even when it doesn't happen, I know it still did a lot of damage. It still killed a lot of bugs, it still closed some bug holes. It just made my life a little bit easier. Now here you can also use water to kind of mess with the charger's pathing. If it's too deep, he won't be able to go through it, so he's going to have to go around. I do see that Bile Titan in the distance, and things are getting a little bit sticky, so I need to make sure that I have a way out of here, because I do not want to get vomited on in this little alcove while there's chargers and all this other crap chasing me. So I'm going to bail. I'm going to jump out the side here and kind of look for a way out, look for a new place to fight. I also don't want to call in Eagle 1 here if I can avoid it, just because it might land on the top of that plateau rather than landing where I need it to land. So I'm looking for a good spot to fight. I see this charger in front of me. I'm going to roast him up real quick. But you see how ridiculously fast this thing kills chargers? Especially with the upgrade, the tier 4 upgrade they released not too long ago. Oh, I should have mentioned, I do have that upgrade. It does about 25% more damage. It's kind of noticeable, but if you don't have it, don't stress yourself. It'll still be good. But now here you can see the Bile Titan is more in the open, so I'm going to be looking for a 500 kilo. I'm going to try to bait him over here a little bit. I'm going to wait by the bomb, try to get him to vomit. So he goes for the vomit. Eagle 1 on target as always, takes him out. And because I don't really know what's in the smoke over there, I'm just going to mag dump it. Just try to make sure that I'm a little bit safe, because this has been quite an extended fight at this point. It's been going on since I did the upload data. And I'm very conscious of the clock. I've only got 12 minutes left. And that's to do the primary objective, clear all these bugs out, and then run to the extraction. So I am very crunched for time, but I need to make sure these guys are dead so I can continue on, because if they're not, these hunters are going to track me down, the charger's going to be following me. I might run into more spawns at the main objective area. I just want to make sure I feel in control of the situation before I move on. Also, as you saw there, I saw the flames kind of deflecting off the charger a bit. If you can, try to aim for their legs. I don't think I mentioned that yet, but if you can, aim for their legs, because they have a smaller health pool or something. I don't know. They die a lot faster if you're shooting them in the legs. And also, I think each leg has its own separate health pool. So if you're focusing on the left leg, or on the charger's right leg, and then you swap to his left leg, it's going to take longer to kill him than if you just focused in on that one limb at a time. It always kind of hurts when I find these bunkers playing solo, because obviously you can't open them, but they do always have a little bit of supplies around to restock a bit before moving on. Now this objective is going to require us to haul that SSSD all the way across the map after we upload the data. Then we're going to have to stick it in at the main objective, realign the dish, and do a bunch of other crap. So I'm just going to let y'all watch until I get to the primary objective, because it's pretty much one big fight and then me running across the map. So enjoy!
Control.
I hope y'all don't mind the occasional musical interjection. I like to listen to music while I slaughter the enemies of democracy. But thankfully we've cleared out most of the bugs, so now we just gotta circle back, grab that SSSD, and get on with the rest of the primary mission. So the idea here is we're gonna set up our defense. We want that resupply called down, we want all of our cooldowns back up, because, you know, patrols are going to start pathing towards us as we finish out this objective, and it's a whole lot of waiting around for, you know, the broadcast to get to the super destroyers, I guess. But I see this patrol here, and I do make a little bit of a mistake. I throw the 500 at it instead of just killing them with the flamethrower, but I noticed I only had one tank left for the flamethrower. I really needed to get a resupply. I should have done that earlier. But I run over here, I grab it up right quick, and then we're just going to finish off this little patrol. The 500 thankfully killed most of it. I'm not quite sure how I didn't die there, but you know, when you believe hard enough in democracy and prosperity, the principles of our civilization, little thing like crush injuries, they just kind of, you know, go away sometimes. So anyway, here we are clearing out the last of the enemies. We kind of got split off from the main objective. I really should have hit that first before I dealt with the patrol or got the ammo, that kind of stuff. That was a bit of a mistake. I wasted about a minute here, and when you only got 5 minutes left in the mission, that can be kind of damning at times. But we correct it, we get away from the fight, we don't get too bogged down, and we're going to go hit that button so we can kind of move on with our day. The last bit of this mission is a bit of hurry up and wait. I just gotta wait for these things to keep going through their processes. I gotta keep running back to the console to type in the next command. But while I do that, I just gotta make sure I kill as many bugs as I can. Don't let them crowd me up or try to get me away from the button if I can avoid it. Now, sometimes you're not gonna be able to avoid it. You're gonna have to circle around, kind of lose track of the enemies before you can go up and hit the button. As you can see here, I'm starting to get hemmed in by the fire and you know, all of that stuff. So I'm trying to look for a good angle here. I end up lighting myself up before, I don't know, I'm just trying to find a good angle like I've been talking about pretty much the whole frickin' game. But once I get all these dudes in front of me, and you know, I got the flamethrower letting loose, I got the firestorm actually helping me out for once rather than setting myself on fire. But yeah, we're able to clear this out pretty easy, and then we're head back to the button. I skipped it just to save some time, but we realign the radar dish, and I hear the beep, so I know it's good. So I'm going to go over and push the button, and then I'm going to realize that there's still like 4 freaking steps to this stupid objective. I really hate this one, y'all. It just takes forever. So I do the final sequence, and I'm praying to democracy that this is enough. So yeah, it is. So I'm mission complete. We just got to haul ass all the way to the extraction zone. As you can see, because I didn't dive and I stemmed instead, I was alight for a lot longer than I would have liked. So here we are at the extraction, and now with the extraction it's going to be very similar to the bots. You do want to just be kiting around, but it's actually a little bit easier against the bugs, because the only bugs that are faster than you are the Charger, the Bile Titan if you're not wearing light armor, which we are thankfully, so we can outrun Bile Titans, Hunters, and Stalkers. Everything else, or Shriekers I suppose, but everything else is going to be slower than us, so we don't really have to fight much. You see, we ran out of time, the destroyers left orbit, but I'm still not overly worried. Even though I'm not going to be able to kill this Bile Titan, there is no way that I'm in any danger at all, because I can just use these buildings, these big ass rocks, and I can just stall for time as long as I need until Pelican 1 gets his ass here and brings me home. When you're doing this kind of kiting around, you want to try to corral them into going in a circle and then just deal with whatever's in front of you. If there's a lot more in front of you than you expected when you're doing this kind of a technique, you know, just break away, kind of figure it out. But Termanids are very easy to kite, so these last 20 seconds are usually the most kind of nerve-wracking of any solo Helldive, because, you know, I really don't want to get left behind. If I die once, I'm just, the run is over. So I'm trying my best to just keep as much distance between me and the Bile Titan as possible. I'm prioritizing Hunters whenever I see them, and honestly I'm probably just going to try to ignore these Chargers as I get to the extract. Pelican 1's landed, so I see my chance. I'm going to just make a break for it. I'll throw some grenades, dive out of the way of this puke, and yeah, we're pretty much home clear. We're going to hop on the Pelican and call it a day. Now, this run wasn't the prettiest. I apologize for that, but I am going to blame the map modifiers. But I appreciate y'all sticking all the way to the end, and I really hope that you learned something. I had a lot of fun with this loadout, and I think it's real strong, y'all. So if you've wanted to go set things on fire, give this a try. As you can see, we missed quite a few optional objectives, but that's okay. It happens. We had a pretty good score, pretty good kill count. I'm satisfied with it. Anyway, that's Commissar Kai, signing out until the next one. Take care, y'all.